wherever you go, whatever they get into. From chill time to everyday adventures, protect your dog from parasites with Credelio Quattro. For full safety information, side effects, and warnings, visit CredelioQuattroLabel.com. Consult your vet or call 1-888-545-5973. Ask your vet for Credelio Quattro and visit QuattroDog.com.
On this week's Media Day interviews, I sit down with two Ball State Cardinals. First, the head coach of the Ball State football program, Mike Uremovich, followed right after by Mick Tidrow, the voice of the Ball State Cardinals. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, welcome back to the MAC Sports Connection. We are here at Ford Field for the 2025 MAC Media Day, and I'm sitting here with Coach Mike Uremovich, head coach of the Ball State Cardinals. I got that right, yeah?
Great job on the last name. Did your homework. Pretty impressive.
If I get one thing right today, it's that. But no, Coach, welcome. Your first MAC Media Day. How's that transition to Muncie been? All settled in?
It's been good. Obviously, when you take over a program, there's a lot of things to do, from the staff to the recruiting the current players on the team to recruiting new guys coming in to the schedule, the spring ball. And I was talking with our athletic director last night. After this media day, although the boxes are finally checked and we get to start coaching football next week. So I'm glad to be here, and it's going to be a good couple days, but I'm excited to get back and really start practicing.
Now, I've got several Ball State followers for the podcast, so this next question might get you in trouble if you don't answer right. Do you have a favorite pizza joint in town?
Pizza King is probably my favorite one.
You're safe.
Yeah, but I haven't had a bad pizza in Muncie yet.
Okay.
They're all pretty good, but Pizza King is the one we probably get the most for the coaches.
Okay. So you're coming back to the conference. You've been with Northern Illinois under some great coaching regimes during some great times at NIU. How does it feel to be now across the Huskies, but just the head coach in this league?
Yeah, it's exciting for me. Obviously, I love the MAC and that opportunity to coach at Northern 3 different times, and like you said, won a couple MAC championships, be a part of those. But I love the conference. I love the competitiveness of it from the top to the bottom. I like the footprint, the Midwestern schools for the most part, and I like the football that's played in. It's physical, tough football. You're going to play in the elements. You're going to play those late action games when it's cold and windy and rainy, and I really enjoy the MAC conference. I'm excited to get back into it. A lot of the coaches are different from the last time I was here, and the rosters are constantly changing. So it'll be a new experience getting back on the field.
Kind of talking about the rosters changing. You kept some big pieces from last year's team, Magwood, Kelly. Just the household names, if you will. But then you also bring in some guys from Butler with a lot of experience, a lot of talent. Talk about what the expectations are for you in year one.
Well, our expectations right now is just to have. I'm a real day-by-day person, and right now is just to have the best training camp we can have. I thought we had a nice spring. I thought we had a really good summer, and it set us up to have a good training camp. And that's what I told our guys the other day. You've done everything you need to do now to set you up for a good camp. And hopefully we go do the things we need to do in training camp over the first 15 practices, and then we'll start setting our depth charts and getting ready for Purdue. But with all the turnover in our roster into the spring, and then after the spring with all the guys we added, the first 15 are really going to be like another spring ball for us. I mean, guys are still learning. The new guys are getting on the field for the first time. So it is still about development and finding out who our first 22 are going to be out there on offense and defense, and where we're at on special teams.
So obviously outside of some of those guys I just mentioned, who do you see really stepping up to make an impact? And you can talk offense and defense, wherever, but lot of lack of production returning from the year before.
Yeah, honestly, there's too many to name because we have competition at a lot of spots, and we have over 50 new players. So there's any number of guys that could start for us in the secondary. We got a bunch of new pieces on the offensive line. I like the guys that we had on the offensive line. So it's going to be determined by how those guys compete in training camp. It's really two different things for me. Defensively, we want to play as many people as we can. So I want the competition, but if we have depth in our 2 deep or our 2.5 deep, we'd like to play 30 guys throughout the course of the game to keep them fresh and keep our guys healthy, and that helps you down the road. Offensively is a little different. You kind of like to lock in on your quarterback. You'd like to lock in on your 5-0 linemen. We'll play 7-8 wide receivers. We'll play 3 or 4 tailbacks and 4 or 5 tight ends. So there's kind of more true starters on the offensive side of the ball than defensively.
Okay. So every stop you've had, St. Francis, Butler, it just seems like there's been a steady growth, a lot of improvement, which recipe for success, obviously, involving the players and coaches. What are you bringing from those stops that you've learned with you to Ball State?
Yeah, I think being a head coach is like anything else in life. The more you do it, hopefully you're learning from your mistakes, and I've made a lot of them, and hopefully you're getting better as you go. And there's still a lot of things I can get a lot better at, but there are some things, going into it your third time as a head coach that hey, this is exactly how we want to do this. This is exactly the profile of the person I want to hire on our staff, whether it's a coach, an ops person, an equipment person. Like, these type of people will work good underneath our expectations and how we want to run a program. And then it goes into the recruiting part. It's just, I think every year that you're coaching, whether you're a head coach or an assistant, what type of player you want to coach. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, we all want to coach great players, but are they going to be guys that are serious about school? Are they guys that absolutely love football, or do they love what football does for them? So I think the better you get at weeding out the guys, there's plenty of good players out there.
Sure.
It's, are they going to be a guy that I want to coach and our staff wants to coach every day? And those guys will develop and get better and better in our program. So, like I said, there's still a lot of things I can get better at, and I'll make mistakes this fall, no doubt about it. But you do feel more comfortable the longer you're doing it.
Now, in terms of what you can expect out of the fans, what's your message to the fans to say, hey, year one, fresh slate with a new coaching staff? What do you want the fans to step up and do?
I just want them to be proud of the product on the field. You know what I mean? And that's controlling the things we can control. That's playing hard. That's being disciplined. That's being physical. That's not beating ourselves. That's being in great shape so you can win in the fourth quarter. All of those things we can control, and all of those things our fans should be able to see and should be able to watch us play and be excited about the way our guys play together.
I love that.
You do all of that, the wins and losses take care of themselves. But you should be able to come watch Ball State football play and know that you're going to get a tough, physical brand of football, and the guys are going to play for each other and play hard, and they're going to be excited to play the game. And that's what fans want to see. I mean, they pay money to go see guys put it all out there. And if you're giving great effort, they're usually pretty understanding with the results if you're playing to the best of your ability.
Sure. We'll talk about special teams here briefly. You've got an electric returner in that backfield. How do you see him enhancing a special teams that really wasn't spectacular in yesteryear for Ball State?
I was a special teams coordinator for a year, and I've also coached on him as an assistant at many different times. As much as your schemes are important, as much as the technique is and all those, when you got a good returner, you got a good return game. If you got a good punt return, you got a good punt return game. So, I'm excited for Quay back there in our kickoffs, and EJ back there too, who did some at Purdue. So, we have the good starting point with the two returners back there, and we have some other guys that can do it too. It's about finding the other 9 guys out there that are going to, execute the blocks on the kickoff return. But, yeah, that does help, obviously. It's really great to start the ball at the 40-yard line instead of the 25.
Absolutely. Quay Ashley named a first-team preseason All-MAC returner per athlon. That's going to be a dynamic addition to this program.
Yeah, I just hope he's not returning too many of them a game.
Hey, you wouldn't be upset if he returned 6,
No, I mean, running them back is fine. I just don't want him to get too many opportunities a game.
So now last year Ball State celebrated 100 years of football. Year one of the second 100 years. What's going to be your stamp on that product? Well,
really, it's just daily improvement. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to talk about the schedule now and what your record's going to be and your wins and losses and all that. And that's all great, and that's what my father-in-law and dad and everybody want to talk about. But I don't really look much further than, hey, this is training camp. And we got to get as good as we can get every single day in camp. And then it's really, and we'll talk about this with our players all the time, it's 12 one-game seasons.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it whether you win the first one or lose the first one, it has no bearing and no impact on the second one. So we have to get in the next play mentality as a team, which we're not there yet. We need to get better at that. When things don't go good in our conditioning, we need to get better at just moving on. And then we need to be in the next game mentality in the season. Whether we win or lose, the next game is a one-game season. And that's why I love coaching football, because that week you got guys that are injured. You got guys coming back from injury. You might be playing an option team. You might be playing a spread passing game. It is a one-week season with everything everybody in the building has to try to win that game. And as soon as it's over, if it's at home, you go home. If it's on the road, you get on the plane, and then it starts over the next week. So, I hope our stamp is that we show up and play to our ability every week.
I love that.
That's what I want us to be able to do. Now, it's really hard to do, and it's challenging to do.
Now, Coach, I'll ask you just a couple rapid-fire questions.
Okay.
Just so the fans get to know you a little bit. Stadium you're most looking forward to coaching in outside of Schumann Stadium?
Probably Purdue, because I went to school there, and my son will be a freshman there.
Okay.
So it'll be his first college football game as a student will be us playing there. So that'll be a unique experience. And my wife went to Purdue as well.
Okay.
So it'll be
nice family ties.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that'll be fun.
Do you have any favorite pregame traditions that you follow?
I do not.
No. Okay. No. No eating a big breakfast or anything. Nothing like that. Okay. Okay. Favorite football movie?
Favorite football movie is Rudy.
Okay.
My wife's last name is Rudiger. That's her uncle, so it's a little known fact. I'm from Joliet, Illinois, so if I didn't say Rudy, I wouldn't be allowed on the family vacation this year. So that's my favorite football movie.
Does that translate into your favorite sports movie then as well?
Yeah, I like Hoosiers too, though. I think
Hoosiers is great.
And I like The Natural too.
The Natural's good. I don't hear that one too often. Okay. Just watched 42 with my folks the other couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's really good. If you like baseball history, really good one. Coach, I think that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Looking forward to seeing the Cardinals take the field this year. A lot of great talent over there in Muncie, and just really looking forward to it.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate all you do for the MAC too. You said how many years doing this?
Man, 6 years this
6
October.
Years. Well, it's great for our players and the exposure, and you're welcome anytime in Muncie. If you want to come out and hang out and watch a game or do a podcast from our facility, you're more than welcome to do that.
I certainly appreciate that. Thanks, Coach, and chirp, chirp, go
Thanks,
Cardinals.
Brother.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are here at MAC Media Day, Ford Field 2025 MAC Media Day. I'm here with the voice of the Cardinals, good friend Mick Tidrow. Mick, welcome.
Appreciate you, Alex. Thanks for having me on the show. It's good to see you up here in Detroit. And you know what? When we see each other, it means football season's here, almost. Got to wait a little bit more, but it means that. It's always a good time, man. Appreciate everything you do for the MAC, man.
Hey, I tell you what, it's a labor of love with the emphasis on love. This is a great league with some great people, coaches, administrators, voices, and I'm happy to, like you said, happy to be here because that means football's right around the corner.
It does, and it's good to get everybody together. I love Media Day because you just see the buzz and you see the camaraderie that teams have, and you get to see how some of the players interact with other teams' players. And that's been one of the fun, unique aspects of this. At the Foaling event last night, it was just cool to see teams competing against each other, and rivalries are born, right? You just get to have that aspect. So it's really fun, and Media Day is so well done by the conference. I've never been in Ford Field before, and amazing venue.
Yes.
It's so easy to get around. B, the MAG did a great job putting everything together, making this a super vibrant but simple event that everybody can get to point A to point B. So great job by the conference and awesome job by the teams.
I think it's interesting you brought up not being in Ford Field before. I almost forget that I've been doing this podcast longer than you've been a voice at Ball State.
Yeah.
That you're making me feel old, man. It's because my first media day was here.
Does it make you feel better that I turned 30 in December?
Only slightly because you finally joined me in my decade. But no, it's Mick. As always, it's a great pleasure to have you. You've seen this coaching regime change, and I don't want to get into the weeds too much with the Mike new era. I've tremendous respect for Mike and wish him all the best. But now we've got another Mike Uremovich, and there seems to be a new buzz around Ball State that I haven't seen since the 2020 season.
Yeah, Coach U has brought in a lot of energy, and there's such a connected feeling with this group. And I think one reason right off the top is just the amount of coaches he brought that he knew from previous stops. And I know that might be an easy talking point to go down and go with, but it's so true because you walk in day one in spring or in January or whenever it is, you don't have to teach your coaches what you got to teach your student athletes right after that. The coaches just know. You blink and they know what you want. So that is such a vital piece to have that walking in January, February, and that first semester you get to have with the players is vital. And then spring ball, you're installing stuff. Summer, you're working on things, and then fall camp, and you're just your head's down. But the reason there's that energy that you're feeling, the reason that there's that vibrant aura is due to the connectedness of all the coaches.
Yeah.
And they have given the players that feeling and that confidence as well, Alex. And that, to me, breeds success. And that's why Coach U's been able to turn programs around, is because he builds that culture and does things in a way that sets a foundation. And when you're doing that with guys that you already know and you know their coaching styles, that plays a large role in success.
Well, and I think, too, when you go down that road of how you attack things and how you approach things, if the coach knows what you want and what you need, that's obviously going to breed success. But if you know what the coach is trying to get out of you,
yes,
that breeds a whole nother level of success, because it's like, all right, this coach has a direction. I follow this direction. We're going to be successful. Doesn't necessarily mean wins. It means being a person, being successful as a person.
It does, and that's what I love about Coach U is he is so focused on making sure that these student athletes are taking care of his people first.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you get a lot of coaches that are like that, but Coach U has definitely hit that avenue, and I love that he's just honest with the guys.
Yes.
And you can hear from Kyle Kelly and Darren Conley, who are Ball State's 2 representatives here at MAC Media Day. They both have said, look, Coach has just been honest with us.
Yeah.
And he's kept his word every stop along the way during this 7-month stretch that he's been the head coach of Ball State football. And that is so good and refreshing to hear, because when you have that, hey, you're the guy here, you're the guy there, do this to help lead our team, it helps. But then Coach U's also been very honest and said there's a lot of open competition.
Yeah.
He's told a lot of guys, hey, there's open competition in a lot of spots, and there's a lot of new faces, so go out and prove yourself. But the honesty and the genuine feeling that he gives out to people, I think, is really, really a special part of this situation.
Yeah, I think so, and I'm excited for that era with Coach. Let's talk a little bit about the change back to the Robo Cardinal from Dancing Charlie. I gotta say, Ball State, with all respect to my Ball State followers, you moved down like a billion spots on my rankings by getting rid of Dancing Charlie. I was sad.
The sound you're about to hear is me dropping the headset.
Oh, no. That was Mick leaving.
No, I'm just kidding.
Displaying very fruitful. No, I'm kidding. But I was very disappointed. I get you want to make changes, whatever. But that one felt like that was a good change to the program. Like, fans seem to really eat up Dancing Charlie.
So, Alex, it is a decision that's not made by just one person.
Sure.
I think that's the best way to put it. There was a university-wide poll that was put out to alum and people in the community that helped with that change. And the Cardinal head logo is the one that ended up being the one that had the most, and that is where it came from. So I know some people said they hadn't gotten the poll or this or that, and they hadn't got the survey. So I think that's something that is – they're on university email chains, right? So
Yeah.
I always make sure that I'm signed up for everything just to make sure that I get things like that. But I understand. Everybody's got their love for it. I love Dancing Charlie. I love the Cardinal head. I'm one of those people that's like, I love both. So
Sure.
whichever route that was picked, I like it. I know you've got Dancing Charlie on your case
I
for
do.
your equipment. So are you going to change that? Is that going to go back to the Cardinal head?
When I got that logo from your equipment manager, he sent me a couple of the Dancing Charlie and then a couple of the normal the head, and I think the Dancing Charlie is going to stay. It's kind of my rebellious point of
Alex has rebelled against Ball State.
If you hear any negative talk about Ball State coming from this podcast, it's probably me. No, it's but I get it. Universities make decisions, and not everybody's ever happy with them. But it seems like just universally people are happy with the direction the football program is going,
right.
and I think that's a win when trying to win back some of your alumni, your fans who started kind of disappearing a little bit.
Yeah, and the culture, the foundation again with who you bring in as a coach, and Coach U's been able to build a community in the MAC already as a coach with NIU, and in the state of Indiana with Butler and a few other stops. Like, he knows this state. And he's pouring in so much to that. And he keeps saying we want to win the recruiting battles in the state of Indiana first. We want those to be the recruits that we land and then get to Ohio, get to Kentucky, to Florida, Georgia. But we want to make sure that the state is represented well. There are so many alum who live in Indiana that graduated from Ball State. And if you are recruiting people that those fans and those alumni know, or they know their families, you're starting to build that up a little bit. And can you win the state? That helps change things, because I saw a graph the other day about a chart of alumni that have graduated from Ball State that now live in the state of Indiana, and there are a lot, Alex, that live in the state still. So there's a huge retention. And so when you're recruiting those athletes in the state, I love what Coach is saying. You recruit those athletes, you're building community, and then when you win games, that community shows up for you, and it builds and grows. So I'm very fascinated by how that dynamic goes.
Well, and that's such a massive aspect to building a fan base, building a program, whatever you want to build. Having the people there and be available and getting them to be available is a big part of that. Your expectations for Ball State this year, obviously coaching change, roster changes. What are your realistic expectations for the Cardinals?
Yeah, I think the big thing is I like where this team has positioned itself from a roster standpoint, bringing a lot of fresh faces. A lot of guys obviously transferred out with the coaching change, but when you bring in Coach U and the staff, I think the expectation is to go compete for it. You know, they want to be right back here in December.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those opportunities for a full circle thing. You start in Detroit, you hopefully end in Detroit, and I think that is the expectation for all 6 new head coaches too within the MAC. But from a play standpoint, I think that this team, and Coach U has said this, he wants to build the depth. If you build the depth, your expectations can go up because if you've got depth across the board and he has said, I want to be able to rotate 30 guys in on defense every game. Like that's news. That's new to a lot of people because a lot of people are, you play your best 11 guys all the time, right? But if you're fresh and you've got 30 guys who can be in the defensive group that can play at the level that they need them to play, that perspective that he presented, I think is unique, and that shows a different level of expectation that he wants every single guy to be able to run out there and play and compete. So
that's wow.
I like that attitude, and I like the way that presents out to everybody. So I think the expectation for me is we're going to see a lot of competitiveness. They're going to be a very physical team. Coach U is recruiting guys that aren't going to shy away from being physical. Like instead of, running out of bounds as a running back or a wide receiver after you catch your low on the shoulder, you're going to go try and make a play.
Yeah.
And I think that when you have all that built up, the expectation of wins and all that comes together. But from a win-loss standpoint, you know how I am, Alex.
Yep.
I'm enjoying the ride. But from an expectation, from a standpoint, I'm so excited to see how physical the group is and then just how deep this team can be.
Mick Tidrow, the voice of the Ball State Cardinals, joining me here today. Mick, you have a podcast with the school. Tell people where they can find that.
Yeah, absolutely. So our Heart of the Cardinal podcast is something that we just started this summer. It's a video-audio podcast, and it was really an experiment throughout the summer to see where we can take this. But we're going to partner with Ball State Sports Link, the student production program that's an official athletics production partner as well, and produce a podcast, video-audio throughout the academic year as well. It's fully on YouTube right now. That's where the show lives. So just search Heart of the Cardinal on YouTube. It's there. Conversations with football, basketball so far. The studio's undergoing some changes, so we'll have to pause on any new episodes. We recorded a bunch of basketball ones, so we'll have those coming out as well. But after that, we'll have to wait until the school year begins to have any new content from that. But we also have some multimedia rights changes, so we're waiting to see from a radio standpoint and audio standpoint how things line up.
Okay.
But yeah, from a video standpoint, a podcast, Heart of the Cardinal is the home right now. We've got a bunch of conversations up with football players and coaches right now. 5 coaches, 5 players, and then we'll have men's basketball coming out as well throughout the summer. So yeah, I appreciate you asking about that.
Absolutely. Again, Mick Tidrow, the voice of the Ball State Cardinals. Mick, thank you so much for joining me today, talking some Ball State, and should be a good year. I'm excited. Yeah, me too. I appreciate you having me on as always, Alex, and can't wait to see you in Muncie hopefully this year. I know your schedule is going to be jam-packed, but hopefully we get you at Schubert Stadium or somewhere throughout the year. But really appreciate what you're doing and how you provide coverage for the MAC and for Ball State. So even though you're upset with us about the Cardinal head taking over, we appreciate you, Alex. See you soon. Thanks, Mick.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Basketball game? Crushed it. And the day's just getting started. Now, kicking it with my crew. When I need a quick snack, Go-Go Squeeze Active Fruit Blend with electrolytes pouches are always in the starting lineup. Made with real fruit and select electrolytes. And so tasty. From workouts to hangouts to whatever's next, I go with Go-Go Squeeze Active. Snag yours on your next store run. Available on Amazon.